Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. Today's video is a review for the A24 slash the Apple TV original movie, The Tragedy of Macbeth. This is of course based on the works by William Shakespeare. Um, and I will say up until yesterday when I watched the movie, as of the recording of this video, I hadn't really read Macbeth. That was not one of the works. I'm not like I'm not somebody that's read everything from Shakespeare, but I've read a few things. I watched a few adaptations. Um, Matter of fact, the only context I had for Macbeth was when The Simpsons parodied Macbeth, which I think everyone, uh, or most everyone, is probably familiar with that. So let's get into the review. I will tell you right off the bat. There'll be no spoilers, but I mean it is Macbeth, so like there's really not a lot to spoil if you're familiar with the story. Um, it's good. Guy, this is a good movie. So let's get into it. So the Tragedy of Macbeth. It came out in December to be considered for the Oscars. It came out in limited in theaters on December 25th, and then it was released on streaming on Apple TV Plus on the 14th. This is directed by Joel Coen. This is one of the Coen brothers. This is actually Joel's first solo directorial effort. Most of the other films he does with his brother Ethan. So it's pretty interesting to see creators kind of still try to find new things. I'm sure they're very comfortable working together, but you know. So the screenplay was written by Joel Coen, obviously, like I mentioned before, adapted from the play by William Shakespeare. As of the recording of this video, the Rotten Tomato score is 94%. The audience score is 82%. I am right there on board with both of them. Um, so let's see. I don't even know if do we need a synopsis for this. Macbeth. Uh, Here's a prophecy. He wants to be the king. He does everything he can to be the king, and then kind of suffers the dire consequences that come with his ambition. Um, yeah, I was talking to some people, and we were talking about how these. I mean, the reason Shakespeare gets adapted all the time is because a lot of the themes in his work are just super timeless. So yeah, this was already a good place to start, and I think the talent involved in this movie is what really makes it shine when maybe compared to other adaptations of the work, and makes it worthwhile to readapt the work. I think, I don't think that we need to keep making these movies over and over. But when there's an interesting take or an interesting performance or an interesting way to deliver it, I think it's definitely worth exploring. So let's go over the cast a little bit, and I'll go into some more of the stuff that I really liked about this movie. The movie is unusually formatted in the 4:3 format, so keep that in mind when you're going in. It's also in black and white, um, so keep that in mind as you get through it. I don't know if people are used to both seeing movies in black and white and in the 4:3 format. We've recently had some movies released in that format. Oddly enough, we had Zack Snyder's Justice League is Gray. That cut of the movie is both 4:3 and in its black and white, and also um, the Lighthouse was also 4:3 and black and white. So it looks like a lot of these directors, because they maybe grew up watching that specific format, in the old TVs, maybe they want to get back to that feel. So it's interesting that we have three movies in the last 5 years that, and I'm sure there's more, just probably nothing that I can think of the top of my head. Anyways, back to the cast. Denzel Washington plays Macbeth. Frances McDormand plays Lady Macbeth. Barry Cavill plays Banquo, who is Macbeth's best friend, if you're not familiar with the play. Brendan Gleeson plays Duncan, King Duncan. Harry Melling plays Malcolm, son of the king. Harry Melling is Harry Potter's cousin in the Harry Potter movies, so you may see familiar. I do like that he's also kind of kept up his career and kind of kept. He was the villain on The Old Guard on Netflix, which was really interesting. So it's really interesting to see him here in this role as well. Uh, a few more people that I'll mention. Corey Hawkins plays Macduff, who, from what I understood from the movie, is the main antagonist to Macbeth. And then we also have somebody that I do want to mention, because there's so many people that are really talented. But one more person that I want to mention is Stephen Root, who plays Porter, the wackiest character in the whole play slash movie. Anytime I see Stephen Root show up on something, I just immediately like that stuff better. He recently showed up in quick spoiler in the Book of Boba Fett, so that was really cool. So it's really cool to see Stephen Root show up here. Uh, all right. So like I mentioned, I don't think the story is what I'm gonna focus on. I think we know that the story's it's a good story. What I will say is I love the look of the movie. It made it feel to me like an immersive play. Like I almost wanted this to be, and maybe this is something that can be done in the future, like a VR play where you're in there, like almost as if you were sitting in the middle of the stage, and everything kind of kept happening around you. The sets looked very very simplified. Like it wasn't very opulent or it wasn't super decorated. It was just like bare bones, like you would have in a theater. And look, Denzel Washington and Francis McDormand, and I'm sure a lot of these actors are classically trained actors. They were theater actors. Denzel has done Shakespeare's story before. I'm sure they all have. So yeah, it's just really really cool, um, because it's something way different than normally what I'm used to. Like, I love, and my main thing probably will always be like big blockbusters, superhero movies, all that stuff. But it's just kind of nice to step out, um, and just kind of go into something that's a little bit different. Also, like I mentioned, Shakespeare is just timeless. But yeah, Denzel, man, what a performance! Like, I will be surprised. I don't know. I haven't seen the Oscar nominations, but I'm sure that he'll get a nomination at least for Best Actor. Also, Frances McDormand as well, uh, for leading actress. Man, they were great. Like they just put this movie on their backs, and with the help of everyone, because I can. There's not one person that was not like on point in this movie. Corey Hawkins too. Corey Hawkins, if you're not familiar with, he was Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. That's his most prominent role. He was also in King Kong, Kong Skull Island. So he's been doing a lot of movies. So it was really interesting to see him in this role of Macduff. Um, so yeah, it's just man, and the movie it's only an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, but it really builds like the pressure and the tension just starts building and building every moment, and you really feel like you go through that same anguish that Macbeth is going through because not only is the acting leading you there by Denzel Washington just taking you there, but also the music. The composer for this movie is Carter Burwell, and man, oh man, the music that he scores in those scenes when Macbeth's talking to the witches, when he's having the hallucinations, and then as we kind of escalate towards the main conflict at the end, it's uh, it's just it really really good. Like it really kind of gets into your head. I did pause the movie for a minute to kind of regroup when I was watching it, because there was a like I wanted to make sure that I was kind of caught up. It is a little bit um, tough with material like this, and even with plays and stuff like because I don't normally delve into that kind of media, like keeping up with names and stuff because they're not in movies and there's very clear language to say like this is who I am. So I kind of have to go back and figure out okay who is everyone playing like other than the main few people. It's kind of hard to keep track for me for some of the other insular characters. So I wanted to make sure, like, oh, this guy wasn't, this guy showed up at the beginning. Now he's back. Like, what the relevance is of that? Um, and of course, it almost reminded me of being back in high school, having to pull out the old Spark notes. Luckily nowadays we have Wikipedia, and I could just go like, okay, yeah, I think whatever I thought happened really happened, because that's the movie. It's kind of surreal in that way too, where you don't know because you're seeing everything through Macbeth's eyes, but not really. Like it's really interesting when they do the soliloquies and characters looking directly at the camera, but it's not really fourth wall breaking. It just feels like that's part of the play. So I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are probably more able to contextualize what I'm trying to say, but I hope you understand at least the feeling that I'm trying to give you. So yeah, if you have a Apple TV Plus, uh, you can. It's definitely worth your time to watch this movie, and just kind of make it an experience, like if you were going to a play. I think that's probably the best way. I did have to watch this with the captions on because the old English used is like I don't know, I can't confirm that it's exactly the dialogue from the original play, but it really feels like they were going through it, kind of word by word. Very similar to the Romeo and Juliet adaptation with Leonardo DiCaprio, where the original dialogue was all pretty much the same. I think they made a few changes here and there to make it fit. Uh, but yeah, uh, but yeah, there it is. This is my review for the Tragedy of Macbeth. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I mentioned, I really like this movie. Follow me on Letterboxd so you can see my written review if you want to see that. That's at Echo Spider. I'll drop a link in the description. So thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then just come back. We'll have more movie reviews, trailer reactions, comic reviews all week long. And then we do our lives where we will be doing our favorite stuff of 2021 part 2 on our next live so we can finally wrap that up and leave the past year behind. So let me know what you thought of this movie. Let me know what other works of Shakespeare you enjoyed that have been adapted to the screen. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.